Hello everybody, welcome to Cayden Science Lab. Today's episode features our visit to the King Tut exhibit at COSI.
In this episode, there are a few video exhibits for which there is either provided or embedded audio to go along with the text on the screen. And there's a little bit of dialogue from during our time observing the exhibits. Other than that, we're just going to let you follow along with us as we walk through the exhibit rooms, and we hope you enjoy the experience as much as we did. See, this talks more about the Valley of the Kings that we were reading about outside, and this shows you where it is in relation to other parts of Egypt. Now, what this talks about is that the first tombs in the Valley of the Kings were hidden in clefts in the mountainside. And this talks about tombs being robbed, lured by the prospects of unimaginable precious burial goods of the pharaohs. Tomb robbers were often already at work just weeks after a funeral. So there were a lot of people, even back in the days of the pharaohs, that were stealing things from the tombs. The origin of one of the most famous pharaohs of Egypt is lost in the political turmoil at the end of the Amarna period. The living image of Aten is only born in the last years of the reign of King Akhenaten. The few indications found refer to him as the physical son of the king, meaning that Akhenaten must have been his father. Amenhotep III, Tutankhamun's grandfather, is one of the most dazzling rulers of the New Kingdom. He rules Egypt for almost 40 years and brings an unprecedented period of cultural flourishing, prosperity, and stability to the land of the Nile. Amenhotep III is the richest man in the world. No king of the 18th dynasty has as many monumental temples, statues, and palaces built throughout the country as he does. An outstanding example is the Temple of Luxor. His son Akhenaten, however, is responsible for the most radical changes that ancient Egypt ever saw. He abolishes all of the gods and worshipped only one, Aten, the sun disk. He has the images and names of other gods chiseled out all over the country and destroys their statues, especially those of the reviled state god Amun. Akhenaten is rightly identified as having devised the first monotheism in world history. Akhenaten even founds a new royal city in honor of Aten, Akhetaten, near Tel al Armana on the edge of the desert of Middle Egypt. The pharaoh also initiates an unusual artistic style. He has himself depicted with a long chin, a rounded belly, and strong thighs. Akhenaten is married to probably the most beautiful woman in the world, Nefertiti. The couple has at least 6 daughters. The name of the mother of Akhenaten's son is not yet known. We only know who ascends to the throne as the only apparent male heir after the death of Akhenaten and unstable intermediate governments, the king's 8-year-old son, Tutankhamun. The most important decision is made in the 2nd year of the young king's reign. He reinstates all of the old gods, and the place of Aten is taken up again by the former state god Amun. In his honor, the young pharaoh changes his name to Tutankhamun. He reverses other decisions that his father made too. Tutankhamun leaves Amarna and declares Thebes the religious center of Egypt once again. The old priests are reinstated, and the temples that suffered the most under Akhenaten's iconoclasm are restored. Tutankhamun's sudden death at about 18 years of age spells the end of one of the most glorious dynasties of Egypt. The young king's widow, Ankhesenamun, is left behind alone. For want of a male heir, the former vizier Ai marries the last of the royal family and takes on the office of pharaoh. When the vizier also dies, his longtime opponent and supreme military general Horemheb ascends to the throne of Egypt. His policies initiate a radical upheaval. Horemheb wipes out all traces of his predecessors from the archives and monuments. For this reason, there are few remaining traces of Tutankhamun. It is only 3,000 years later that Tutankhamun's magnificent burial treasure turns the short-lived and forgotten king into the most famous of all Egyptian pharaohs.
Tutankhamun is one of history's most enigmatic figures. The young pharaoh's reign passed almost without a trace. Yet today, Tutankhamun is probably the best-known ancient Egyptian pharaoh, all thanks to a young man born some 3,200 years later, Howard Carter.
The pharaohs were buried in pyramids, supposedly to help their ascent to the stars. Visible from afar, the pyramids proclaim the riches given to the kings for their journey. The more impressive the pyramids were, the more they attracted tomb robbers. Later generations of pharaohs hid the tombs underground. For thousands of years, desert sand covered the floor of the Valley of the Kings. Now, no one knows what treasures still lie there undiscovered.
Egypt is the Nile's gift. The mighty river feeds the desert kingdom. For thousands of years, the Nile gave the Egyptians rich harvests and stable incomes. The Egyptians created the oldest structures in the world in the longest-lasting civilization ever. At 17, Howard Carter first visits the land of his dreams. He's a good artist and gets a job with a famous archaeologist documenting the finds. Carter is familiar only with the names of most pharaohs, but he's read that Akhenaten was a heretic, abolishing Egypt's deities and solely worshipping Aten, the sun god. Akhenaten moved his capital into the desert, the very place where Carter is now working. 20 years later, The famous bust of Nefertiti, Akhenaten's wife, is found there. Carter overhears talk of a forgotten pharaoh. He doesn't yet know that this is the son of the heretic Akhenaten. His career takes off. At 25, Carter is Chief Inspector General of Monuments for Upper Egypt, a remarkable achievement, but a brawl puts an end to his career. Carter insults riotous European tourists and, rather than apologize, he quits his job. At 31, Carter enjoys a dubious reputation as one of life's failures. He survives as a guide for antiquities.
At night, I dreamt of the long-lost pharaoh, the new king who the gods had put on the throne. I was convinced this was Tutankhamun. I absolutely had to find his tomb, except I had neither money nor a concession to dig.
But then Carter meets an unusual Englishman. Unlike Carter, Lord George Edward Herbert, 5th Earl of Carnarvon, is rich and famous for his passion for race horses and fast cars. A car crash leaves Carnarvon seriously injured. Doctors recommend Egypt for its climate, but he's bored and wonders, isn't there something for me to do? Carnarvon is just the person Carter waited so long to find. From 1909, they are a team. Carter heads the excavations in Thebes. Carnarvon provides the funds, receiving some of the finds in return. There's only one flaw. Carter is excavating exhausted ground. He still dreams of the Valley of the Kings and the tomb of Tutankhamun.
I had long talks with Lord Carnarvon, trying to persuade him to acquire the concessions for the Valley of the Kings. Carnarvon remained skeptical. He'd heard that the valley was exhausted, but I was convinced that the tomb of Tutankhamun still lay under the debris of previous excavations.
Carter's enthusiasm is catching. In autumn 1917, Lord Carnarvon agrees to a systematic search for the tomb of the mysterious pharaoh. Carter divides the valley into squares, removing surface debris down to the rock. Nearly 100 workmen dig 6 winters long, but without success. Only one site remains unexamined, next to the grave of Ramses VI, near the main path through the valley. Digging there would be bad for business. It's the main tourist season. The expedition seems likely to finish before Carter can carry on. Carnarvon has run into financial problems and cut the funding. For 5 years, Carter sunk a fortune into the desert sands. Carnarvon seriously doubts Carter's claim about the tomb of a pharaoh called Tutankhamun. But Carter's determination changes Carnarvon's mind.
I knew this was going to be my last chance to find the tomb of Tutankhamun. Only an archaeologist can understand how desperate I was. I had no idea how near we were to our long-desired goal. At last have made wonderful discovery in valley. A magnificent tomb with seals intact. Recovered same for your arrival. Congratulations.
When Lord Carnarvon arrives with his daughter, Lady Evelyn, they find a wall with the seal of Tutankhamun. But then a cobra kills Carter's canary. For the workers, it's an evil omen. The cobra is the pharaoh's protector. Anyone disturbing the pharaoh's rest is cursed. Such superstitions leave Carter cold. Together with Carnarvon and his daughter, he climbs down into the grave unimpressed by the local people's fears. Never before had archaeologists discovered a sealed tomb. The tomb robbers were always there first. Now the question was, what would Carter find in the tomb?
With trembling hands, I made a tiny breach for the candle. At first, I could see nothing. But then...
Carnarvon asks if he can see anything. Carter replies,
yes, wonderful things.
And all of this stuff was in the tomb. Isn't that amazing?
And dog people, and swan people, and dog people, and owl people, and people. Made out of.
It looks like some type of an alabaster, some type of a rock. What's this, Cayden?
What?
What is it?
The flower.
What'd you find?
A lot of things.
One is the king wearing the crown above Egypt, and there are other ones below Egypt, so different sections of Egypt.
This one. Figure of the king on a boat and standard of Satu.
And he's a falcon. Big he was. There's stuff out there.
Cayden, right here. Stand right there. Yeah. Don't lean against it.
Just
Can you
stand
move?
there.
Can
Yeah,
you
I'm
move?
trying.
I like that. All right. Making it. Okay. What did we just see?
Egypt.
Egypt, the what? Tutankhamun, also known as King Tut. So what did you think of the exhibits? What did you like? What did you find interesting? All the treasures, the coffins, the gold.
Only the gold.
You found the gold interesting?
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Please subscribe to our channel and like our videos.